Buenos dias. I just realized today that I could actually teach Spanish, or I could coach somebody on how to exercise. I've been in the gym now for almost, 5 weeks, and I'm back into the routine of working out. I exercise on a regular basis, and it's kind of an interesting thing because, buenos dias. Okay, but I'm going to talk today about habits and routines. But I was going to talk about exercise, but everything is easier if we put it into a framework like exercise or how to diet. And everything comes down to habits and routines, okay? And it's really tough to get people to actually form a habit, okay? But today I'm going to talk about forming a habit of exercising, but I'm also going to, it applies almost universally to everything we do. And I have some extreme routines that I practice every day of my life. And I've been doing them for almost 45 years or more. And I'm always amazed when somebody has a disruptive routine, like they don't sleep at a regular time, they don't drink their coffee at a regular time, they don't take a shower at the regular time, and they have all these disruptive mentally, emotionally, physically problems. And it's quite obvious that the thing that keeps people, what really saves the planet is people show up for work every day. Without showing up for work every day, their habits they don't realize that showing up for work every day is one of the best habits they ever form. And then they quit work, and then all their habits go to pieces because they suddenly don't wake up in the morning, okay? And it's kind of a thing. But I'm going to talk about exercise. And exercise is about forming routines and habits where you do it. But this sounds really boring if you try to form a habit that is, I don't know. To me, all my habits are incredibly fun, okay? And I don't even try to form a habit unless it's going to be a lot of fun to do, okay? And I always try to take my habits and make them interesting, okay? And it's kind of interesting to me that people actually try to, they get to be 50 years old, they get to be 60 years old, they get to be 80-year-old, and they're still trying to form habits that are just, I don't know what you want to call it, they're torture. And they're so proud of themselves that they do these torturous habits, but they never do these torturous habits for the rest of their life, okay? Nobody's going to do a torturous habit every day. And most of the time when people think about going to the gym, they think of two things. Vergüenza, which is in Spanish meaning shame. They don't want to go show off their body in public to anybody. In gyms, they often have these full-length mirrors, as you should in your bedroom. When you wake up, there should be scales, in my opinion, and massive amounts of meters so that you can see and get a motivating look at yourself every day. So get on the scales every day and look at yourself in a full-length mirror. But love motivates us to exercise, and self-love keeps us exercising. I'll say that again. Love motivates us to exercise, and self-love keeps us exercising. Fear is a beneficial thing. Like right now, I went from being 85 to 90% on my diet to 100%. And that 10% made all the difference in my really what I would call visceral fat. I realized that I had a lot of visceral fat, which is the difference. Then you got the fat on out the side of your skin, which is called subcutaneous fat. Then you got visceral fat, which is the fat around your heart, and all your organs. And I realized that all my life I've had a lot of visceral fat. But right now I've tapped into Sean O'Mara's principles and this woman Kate, and I've got about 20 different ways that I'm working on the visceral fat. But the thing is that these have to become habits or they don't work. Okay, but the goal here is that when we look in the mirror, we're just a little bit better every day, and that's what a good habit does. But when people have learned helplessness, they cannot believe that they could be beautiful. All of you can be beautiful. Everybody on the planet can be beautiful. It's very few people that are actually beyond the pale, difficult. I mean, they're so obese, so ugly. They're so deformed or something that they have trouble being beautiful. But obviously, we send our children to get braces to straighten their teeth. I get to clean my teeth like every 3 months, and I work very hard to make sure that my teeth, my face, my skin, my body, my hair, everything is in good shape. Why? Because it gives me better self-esteem. I've always been laughing because when somebody tells me they don't care, that it's sort of vanity to care how you look, I say, I kind of think that if they don't care how they look, they don't care about anything, because you should be looking clean, crisp. You should be wearing bright colored clothing to make the rest of the world happy. It's not for you, it's for them. And then if they're happy, it reflects into you. But some people have learned helplessness on habits. They have failed at everything. My mother and father, Jerry and Sherry Graham, at age 50 or something, they gave up on all diets because they failed so badly, and they just said, we are going to enjoy life and we are not going to think about diet. When I learned that I couldn't change people and I stopped trying to encourage my mother and father to lose weight, guess what? We became best of friends. We can't change other people, and we should never sit around and harp at anybody. If you tell a person something more than 2 times, maybe 3 times, maximum, you have to stop, okay? And if you are so controlling that you think you are God and you can change people, that is wrong. But there are people that want coached, and they need to be walked through the process of learning Spanish or learning how to exercise or learning how to diet. And I keep thinking about this because how long should a lesson be on Spanish? To me, longer than 15 minutes is just ridiculous, okay? Because you can't absorb and remember. See, in a lot of ways, Spanish is just rote memory. And how many words do you need to learn in a day? If you learn more than 5 or 10 words in a day, it's 7:44. 7:44. He asked me what time it was. But the point is this, is exercising is, you shouldn't. My mother and father had learned helplessness. They tried and they tried and they tried. My mother used to jog, and I remember when she was in the physical therapy nursing home, they put her in, I don't know what she did. What was the reason why she was a nurse? Well, she ended up in this physical therapy place, and because she was there, and she was like 80 years old, the actual physical therapist didn't do anything to help her. And I was like going, this is ridiculous. But why didn't they do anything to help her? Because she had trouble even walking to the machines. And they had no understanding. These physical therapists had no understanding of exercise. And so I would come over every day. We were in Kendallville, and I would walk her for about, I put one of these straps around her waist. Buenos dias. I put a strap around her waist where you could catch her if she starts to fall, because she was deathly afraid of falling. And these women would try to walk her without that. Well, this was hopeless. This is ridiculous. She had to feel safe enough to exercise. So I would walk her come over a couple times a day, and I'd walk her for a thing. And eventually, I got her on a rollator where she could walk, and then I made it so she could walk about, I don't know, maybe, 50 yards or something, once around the corner. And when she got that thing, I talked them into letting her leave the place. And they wanted her gone because they knew that they were not doing anything. But this is the nature of physical therapy places. They don't really care whether you make progress. And they didn't really understand. They had these regimes where they put people into exercising, and if they couldn't do the complete regime, it's ridiculous. You know what a good set, I'm going to talk about this. The number one overwhelming reason why people fail at exercises is because they do too much. It's never because they do too little. Okay. When I go, like yesterday, I did 45 pounds on my barbells because I used to do 45 pounds all the day. But normally right now when I go to the gym, I do, 5 or 10 pounds, and I do a set of 10. But if I thought, well, let me try 45, and guess how many I could do? I did 3, okay? And guess what? I'm not trying to do a set. I just wanted to see if I could actually curl 45 pounds on each arm. And I could, but I can't do a set of 10 because my arms have atrophied. But I have the muscles there to do it. And if I wanted to, if I stayed in the gym for another 30, say 3 months, I could probably do a set of 3 until I get in a set of 4. But I'm not going to do that because I like to get the muscle pump. So I always do a set of 10. And once I get really good at set of 10, then I after a while, you just do a set of, you do a set of 10, then you wait 30 seconds, you do a set of 10, then you wait 30 seconds. But the point is this, it's a progressive thing in exercises that you overload your muscles, and then eventually your muscles get accustomed to it, then you do more. But exercise isn't. But always the people overwhelm themselves, and they make the exercise torture. I'll never forget, I was in Angola, Indiana. I joined this gym, and I was not in a very good state of mind. And I showed up. I worked out for. I got on the treadmill for 5 minutes. I got off and I left the gym. And the guy goes, "What are you doing?" He said, "You only been here 5 minutes." I said, "The first goal is always showing up every day. That's all there is. That's all you got to do to be the best of the best. If you want to be the best Spanish speaker on the planet, all you got to do is learn 1 word a day, and after a few years, you will be speaking Spanish fluently. But people cannot do something every day in incremental progress. But I truly don't want you to try to learn Spanish that much. I mean, you might be able to take a lesson for a month before you go on a vacation because you really need to be able to immerse it. There's really very little reason to learn Spanish unless you have people that you're going to talk to. But I have a sequence of goals on when I'm working out. Step 1 is my physical health good. We need to be proud of how we look. Beautiful people achieve their goals. All people can be beautiful without exception. It's very difficult to be a person that could not ever be beautiful. Almost impossible. You can always change the way your body looks. You can change the way your teeth look now. And for the most part, almost everything is recoverable. But we need to be beautiful because beautiful people get what they want. I always make a joke, and if you don't think so, take your children to the cereal area and walk them by all the boxes. And what cereal's going to be? They're going to drive you crazy trying to get the box of cereal with the beautiful pictures on it. There's marketing is about beauty, okay, and things. So when you see a beautiful girl on a sports car, they're doing a transference type of marketing where they believe that if you have that car, you're going to get that beautiful girl. And truly, that's that is true that you can get some beautiful girls if you have a beautiful house and a beautiful car and a beautiful job and everything like that. And you're going to lose that girl because she doesn't really love you. She loves something external. And that's the reason why you have to fall in love with yourself. Okay, you have to be the hero of your own life so that, and the woman, to me, I always recommend people take, if I was in the United States and I met a girl right now, I would ask her to go on a date to Taco Bell. Why? Because if the only reason she's going to go on a date with me is because I'm going to pick her up in a beautiful car, talk about a big house, and do it. I don't really think that I should be dating that girl because all she cares about is money. And that is what a prostitute wants. But most people are prostitutes, and that's the reason why they get divorced, because they're really just buying relationships with external things instead of. But exercise is about habits that make us happy because the exercise is happy. Step 2 would be emotional health. Second is mental spiritual. A good mental, emotional, spiritual stage will help us to have habits and exercise because we're going to be a person that is lovable. Okay, so you're going to find a wife, a husband, and family and friends if you're a lovable person. Step 3, easily afford my lifestyle. So these are my three major goals in life. One is to look beautiful. 2, to be emotionally, mentally, spiritually happy. And step 3, to have an easily affordable life. And when anybody spends more money than they earn, this is one of the easiest things to do. But you're going to be able to do step 3 if you're mentally, emotionally, physically happy. If you're happy with who you are, you don't have to spend money to entertain yourself and you don't overspend money. Oh. Okay, but let's talk about habits. Step 1, goal. If you're going to accomplish the first goal, and the only really extremely important goal of exercise is to create the habit of exercising. And if you're going to start studying habits, you're going to realize that they say it takes 21 days to form a habit. And some will say it takes a year, some will say all different things, 18 days, but it doesn't really matter because the reason why people fail at habits is always the same. They're not trying to find a way to make the habit enjoyable. So when you're starting to form a habit, you got to ask 2 questions. Why don't I like this habit? Why do I love this habit? Why do I like this habit? Why do I hate this habit? And you got to always be asking that question. And if you have some reason you don't like the habit, then you got to figure a way around or circumvent that problem. So BJ Fogg has a thing called tiny habits. And a lot of times, like when I used to walk for an hour in the gym when I was for about 20 years when I worked out every day inside the United States, I just read a book every day at the gym. And even now, I'm reading books every day at the gym because I'm doing a specific exercise that I can read a book. I do the aerobic stuff in a way that I can read a book. At the gym I should add that to the list. At the gym or the YMCA in Kendallville, they had a television so people could watch television while they did. I remember these 2 older women were watching a soap opera while they were going very slowly on the treadmill. Not on the treadmill, well, on a bicycle. And I highly recommend you don't do impact sports like running. That's really too difficult on your legs. You really need to do something less strenuous like riding a bike or rowing. Running has got to be one of the worst possible things you can do for your legs, as is walking. Everybody thinks they got to get their 10,000 steps in, and this 10,000 steps is just they're actually learned that really, if you want to live longer, it has less to do. You should be sprinting and doing resistance training. Weightlifting. Weightlifting will make you live longer. Running will not. It will make you have a better heart and things like that. But truly, sprinting and weightlifting. But this is new science or whatever. But I got Mom Graham out of the nursing home by teaching her how to walk again. And I could teach your mother and your family or any one of your friends on how to walk again. It's not that difficult. How did I do it? Because I understood exercise. Exercise starts out with one thing at a time. I was having extreme problems with my transverse abdominals, which doesn't really matter, but I couldn't really push off with my left leg. So I started out here at the beginning of the thing because I broke my femur, and they didn't put the leg on correctly. It's just kind of glued together. They didn't put a bar in there, and they really screwed up my leg. My left leg's about a ½ inch short, which causes an asymmetrical hip thing, causes all sorts of problems. But my left leg atrophies all the time because I favor it, and I gotta unfavor it. I gotta make it a priority. So right now I'm exercising my leg twice as much as I'm exercising my right leg, so I can catch up. But it's really difficult because, why is it difficult? Is because the leg naturally atrophies because I favor it. So I have to come up with a way where I don't favor that leg. But my mother, I got her so she did 20 deep knee bends in front of the sink because she could hook onto it. Older people need to always have something very solid that they can grab hold of. I was actually trying to get my mother, she didn't like the idea at all, but I was going to make a harness thing where she could hook onto the top of the ceiling, and I'd tie it onto joists up there, and then we could put her in a harness and she could exercise without ever worrying about falling down. And then she was going to be able to do all the balance exercises to walk. But I got her up to the point where she was walking pretty good. And of course, the minute I left, she stopped exercising. Why? Because it wasn't enjoyable. Okay? And to make exercise enjoyable is the operative, you got to make it enjoyable. She was only exercising because I took her to 14 different assisted living places, and she was afraid of being put in there. And Mom did certain things to keep from doing it. But at the end of the day, it's very hard to exercise when it's not enjoyable. And the fear of falling was overwhelming to her. So she couldn't exercise because of the fear of falling. And I put bars all around the house. But at the other time, I couldn't make it enjoyable for her. There was no way inside the gym. She was beyond the pale. And she had learned helplessness that she didn't see that she was only going to work out and exercise to keep from going into assisted living. So in a way, if I would have been living in the United States, I could have taken her to a new assisted living place every month, and then she probably would have exercised. But that's not really the goal, right? The habit, to form a habit, that's what I want to talk about today, is forming a habit of exercise. But the habit has to be, the only reward of the habit can be if the habit is the reward. You can't have external, like I'm going to go exercise, then I'm going to go eat biscuits or gravy or something like that. You can't reward yourself. The habit has to be the reward. Okay, so the habit for me of exercising is I feel better. I feel stronger. I get to do so many things. And I got a whole list of ways to make how I make exercise fun. We must work for something other than a reward. It can't be an external reward, okay? You can't be, the habits form when the actual reward of the habit is the reward, not something external. You can't say, you're going to do these operant conditioning things where even Jordan Peterson acts like he should do some external reward. And I disagree with him. I think the reward should be that you feel better, okay? And when people do things that are trying to give themselves some sort of reward, like they get to go eat candy after they exercise, this is not the way to do it. Step one, we must make an an enjoyable habit. A habit only forms if it's enjoyable. And so that is the art of forming a habit. Spending your whole time trying to figure out why first of all, you got to say, why do I hate this habit? And identify that, then remove that. And then you got to say, why do I love this habit? And then you got to you got to do it. But you can add on 20 different reasons why a habit can be fun. So why do I go to the gym? There's 20, 30 different reasons why I love going to the gym. And I believe that the only people, I went to the gym every day for almost 20 years of my life. And I watched on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve and blah, blah, blah. At the beginning of the year, everybody would say they would join the gym. And then they would come for about a week, and they would come in there and they'd torture themselves and they'd quit. 99%. Actually, the whole economic model of a gym is that you join and you don't come. Because if they actually came, the gym would have 10,000 people or 1,000 people, and there wouldn't be enough room for people. There is no way a gym can encourage things. To have people come every day of the week means you'd have to charge like $300 or $400 a month instead of, like right now, Planet Fitness only charges about $25 a month. Why? Because they know you're not going to come. And then they put you on this automatic debit thing on your bank, and then you pay for a year, and then maybe you eventually shut it off. But after you finally give up on it, and that torture sometimes makes you guilty, so you go every day. But at the end of the day, 90% of people just pay and don't go, and it sort of gives them a sense of feeling that they've accomplished something. That is not what if I was going to coach somebody on exercise, it's going to take 15 minutes a day. Why? Because we got to sit there and we got to talk. And we got to talk, and we got to talk. It's like Spanish. We got to talk, and we got to talk until you understand how to form a habit of learning Spanish. You got to, or French, or even Russian. I can teach any language because it's a habit. And the habit of learning, like I have specific habits on how I learn words. Like right now, I'll take out a piece of paper, or if I learn a word, I'll go to Google Translate. I'll listen to the word a few times, then I'll write down the word, then I'll get out a piece of paper, and I'll write that. And if I really have to use the word, and then I will write it out 20 times. But it's according to the dependency. But after a while, you get better. Like I'm at the stage where I learn words because of all the associations that I have with that word. Every single word I learned has some sort of association. It's an immersion thing. I'm actually doing it. But on exercise, it's the habits that we form. But again, the number one reason why people don't go to the gym every day is because they go in there and they hurt themselves. They torture themselves. They get this trainer that I was watching these girls doing burpees, which is one of the most strenuous exercises you can do. You jump down and you jump back up. And this girl would do 3 of them and then stop. And she should have stopped at one set of 3. She should have done a set of 3 and stopped. No, her trainer told her to do 20. And so what'd she do? She tortured herself for 20. Of course, she doesn't want to come back to the gym because she tortured herself. And I'm not going to tell anybody to do burpees the first day they're at the gym. Okay. I'm going to try to get them to talk about if I was training somebody or coaching somebody on things, I'm going to say, first of all, we're going to talk about the goals. What is your goal? If your goal is to live longer, we've got to work on your major muscle groups, okay, which is your legs and your chest, okay, because this is what makes us live longer. Resistance. There's a guy called Mind Pump thing, but they talk about it. Resistance exercise makes you live longer. Running just really helps the heart. Don't get me wrong, running is good for you, and it's better than nothing. But the actual way to increase your thing. See, one of the biggest things is if you want to lose weight, if you have more muscle, you're going to use up more fat, and you're going to. So if you just gain 1 pound of muscle, you're going to lose 4 pounds a year. because that muscle requires energy. But you got to be the art. Everything is an art. And a habit is an art of finding out who you are, why you hate that habit, why you love that habit. Then you accentuate the positive parts and you stop doing the negative parts. A habit is really easy to form if you can make it fun. I constantly try to figure out how to make exercise fun in my room. I have a lot of problems. I have a playlist of music that I can turn on that makes it so that I can listen to something while I exercise in my room. I often I sit in my bed and I have bottles of water, whether a gallon bottle of water or a 2-liter bottle of water or a 1-liter bottle of water, and I do exercise in bed while I'm watching movies because I'm coupling it up. And this is again BJ Fogg's Tiny Habits. He's always talking about coupling one habit with another habit so that when you're doing it. So when I'm sitting in bed, I always have 2 bottles of water in my bed, and I've been doing this for years. Now, the hard part is I have to instantly, on the day one that I arrive in a country and I'm staying someplace, I have to go buy some liter bottles of water and do it. And I always hate losing that money, but it's an investment in my health. So I buy the water bottle and I put them in a room. I actually have 3 long band stretch things, and I realized that I'm getting really good at doing this, and I need to be carrying 6 of these long band things because they're the only things that don't break. Those little short ones, they just break all the time with the different stresses. They really don't work. But long band, elastic band, like it's kind of like a bungee cord, will last forever. And I'm going to be carrying 6 of these all the time because I don't like to do high reps because I get bored. I have a playlist, and in every single one of my descriptions, you can go down and there's different, like right now, you could go down to, in my playlist on biohacking, you could go down to playlist habits, and you could watch 6 or 8 videos on habit forming. And I picked out the ones that actually made sense because 80% of the people that tell you how to form a habit, in my opinion, don't have a clue. And I can tell you that 98% of the people that are working in gyms and 98% of the people that are working in physical therapy have no idea how to teach somebody how to exercise because they always overwhelm them. You got to make it fun. So sometimes you need to do a set of 1. Set of 1. Like if I started doing chin-ups, for some reason I wanted to do chin-ups, I would do 1 a day. Until I got really good at doing 1 a day, then I'd do 2. Okay? But I'm not very good at sit-ups. I mean, not sit-ups. I used to do, I'll never forget, my friend Steve Alltheater in university, I lost $100. I bet him, he said he could do 100 sit-ups. And I said, you can't do 100 sit-ups. I had no. The guy did 100 sit-ups. Why? He used to be a boxer. And boxers need to have extremely strong abdominals. So when I was working out in the gym, I got up to the point where I could do 100 sit-ups a day. And I could do 100 leg raises. And so I have extremely strong abdominals. And I've been working now. I do a set of 20 leg raises, and I do 20 twisting abdominals because at the end of the day, I want to have abdominals. And I've been laughing because nobody is going to want me to be their coach unless my abdominals are showing. And I'm 70 years old. I'm going to round it up, guys. I'm 70 years old, and I'm going to have my abdominals showing here in the next probably next 60 days. For sure within 60 days, but probably within the next 30 days, my abdominals will be showing because I learned how to get rid of my visceral fat, which then helps me to get rid of my thing. And I'm eating more than I used to ever eat. I used to be, the only way I could lose weight was go down to about 700 calories a day. Now I'm eating like, I don't know, 2,000 calories a day and I'm losing weight. But trainers are not trainers, and physical therapists are not physical therapists. They basically are just somebody that holds your hand and gets you to exercise while you do it. But they should be somehow teaching you the art of making the habit of exercise fun. If they don't talk about how to make it fun, then they don't understand how to form a habit. It's got to be fun. But the trainer must make you look better, and so we need to stick you in front of a mirror and somehow show progress so you can have the enjoyment of looking at yourself. Think, like I exercise my neck every day. I got a friend, Mark. I keep trying to give him some exercises to clean up his chicken gobble. I mean, what do they call that? They call it a gobbler or something like that. It's a big neck. I could actually get a cosmetic surgery and just loosen up the skin, and I would have almost perfect skin if I got rid of the neck. I also learned that don't wear these stretch t-shirts, but cameras can really make you look bad. But I'm going to get a six-pack ab, and I'm going to be able to do it anywhere and everywhere on the planet. So the art for me is, how do I make it fun? So why do I hate working out in the room? Why do I love working out in the room? Why do I love working out in the room? Is because I can try different things without looking foolish. There's an exercise I use with long bands that I don't like to use in the gym. I just set it up in my room. I was carrying this around in my backpack for the last month, and I finally realized I don't like taking it out because it's very difficult to set up in the gym, and everybody gets angry with me because it's a non-conforming exercise, but it's extremely good for my hip bones. And I need synovial fluid in my hip bones. But an art is something that is not always the same. Everything is always different. Art is never the same for everybody. And the art of exercise is absolutely different for every single person. I got a whole bunch of ways that I make exercise fun, and I'm going to talk about them soon. But I can teach Spanish, French, Spanish in only 15 minutes a day. And so how much would I charge? I would charge $10 an appointment on Google, on Zoom. But the person would have to do it every single day at the exact same time. And if they didn't show up, I would charge them $20 because there's got to be a very ritual part of this. But you need coaching. It's the same for exercising. I can coach you over Zoom too on the art of creating a habit. We would talk and we would talk and we'd talk until we made that habit fun. But you don't, abs is only, what is the goal? Happy. Why does the goal make us unhappy? We gotta talk about this. This is why it's an art. To form a habit is an art. You have to make it fun. People really truly believe that if they're going to go exercise, they have to go torture themselves. I talk to my sister all the time, and she makes it into work. And I go, work? The only exercise that she does that is fun is when she walks the dog around the thing, and it's a way to actually get a break from her husband with dementia. And she doesn't see that the only reason why she's doing it really is because she gets to have, a break from the kind of stressful situation of her husband. And then exercising in the room is only because she's afraid she's going. But the doctor, her cancer doctor, gave her exercises, but at the end of the day, she doesn't like doing them. And I keep trying and begging her. I said, your best friend goes to Planet Fitness like 3 times a week. Why don't you go with her? I have no clue, because I fear that the problem is that she doesn't want to look ugly. But, you have to go buy clothing that makes you look beautiful. But you need to sit in front of the thing and find out what your pain is. If you sit in front of the mirror, you're going to notice your pains. You're going to say, well, I got a gobbly thing, right? I got wrinkles on my face. I've got hanging skin below my thing. And I use a lymph gland massage every day. And I'm getting rid of my Love handles. I can't believe it. I've always had love handles. And it's really to do with my visceral fat. But listening to idiots is the number one problem that people get. But you can be, these are your pains. Listening to idiots, you're just fat, you're ugly, people are avoiding you, people insult you. These are the reasons to go exercise. But you find out your pains. This is the art form. We only make something an enjoyable habit. The habit must be the reward. Hola. ¿Cómo están? Buenos días. Showing up as the exercise is all you need to do. If showing up isn't enjoyable, you're not going to show up. If you're actually avoiding exercise, then you're not at a place where I laughed because the gym that I worked out for about 10 years closed down, and then I went through 3 different gyms. I joined 3 different gyms until I found the gym that I enjoyed. Like, I actually joined 2 gyms here, but I found I only enjoy the one gym because the other gyms got 10 times better equipment, but they're really kind of pompous, okay? And I don't really like it, okay? But you have to choose the gym that's very convenient. It should never be so far away that it's an inconvenient drive. But when you go to the gym, you need to avoid the people who exercise too much. That sounds funny, right? There's people that are grunting and groaning and trying to make the exercise work. They're teaching you the wrong thing. The exercise should be fun. There's useless negative stress. Buenos días. We need to only talk with people that love to work out. If you want to talk over your workout program with somebody that don't work out every day of the week, all they're gonna do is talk you out of exercising. But you gotta hang around with people that make you happy to exercise. I got a friend here in Columbia, Vivian, that we could talk for hours. I go to the pharmacy every day and weigh myself, and then we talk. She's the best physically fit person here in this village. But there's people in the gym that are not physically fit, that are not routine, that are not steady, that I don't talk to because they're not really enjoying what they're doing. She enjoys what she does. I will guarantee that if you go to the gym, you're going to get overwhelmed. The minute that you get overwhelmed, that's a signal that you're trying to form a habit that you're not going to do. You don't form habits. A set of 1, a set of 2 is fine. You start out with 2, and you get really good at doing two curls or whatever you're going to do, or 5 pounds or whatever you're doing. And once you get really good at doing 5 pounds, a set of 2, after doing that for 2 or 3 weeks, you raise it up to 3, or you raise it up to 10 pounds. But you've got to couple up front. I don't know what they're doing here, but they're making a crap load of noise. You can hire a habit coach, but only 1 in 50 people. It's my opinion that only 1 in 50 people are going to say, let's make this fun. If they're not instantly saying, let's make it fun, they're not a good trainer, they're not a good physical therapist, they're not a good person, because they're not trying to teach you to make a habit fun. The people that go to the gym every day of the week, church, the people that go to the gym every day, go every single day. The people that don't go, try to do it like 1 time a week. Don't get me wrong, you can gain muscle by going 3 times a week. I think going one time a week is a waste of energy. You should just get rid of the thing and give up. But if you want to go 3 times or more, that's starting of a habit. But the people that actually work out all the time go every day of the week. The gym here is closed on Sunday. Makes absolutely no sense to me. The 24-hour fitness program in the United States is great. But you should be going there when you have the most amount of fun. So like I keep alternating. Man. I keep alternating the times I go. Sometimes here in Columbia, I go at 5 in the morning. Sometimes I go at 7. I've actually gone up to 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to find the optimum time when the most amount of people that I enjoy talking to are there. And then I go at night. Sometimes I go at 4, 3, 2. I keep finding. Eventually, I find a hot spot when it's the best time for me to go when the most amount of friends. Generally, if I go at 7 o'clock, I've learned Vivian is there and I can talk to her. And there's a couple other girls there that are real smart. The great thing here is the gym's full of women. It's 90% women. So it's very enjoyable for me to go. But the time of day is incredibly important. It has to be extremely convenient, and it has to be every day of the week, because a habit is something you do automatically. You get off work, you go work out. You get off work, that's what a habit is. Habit is something you don't think about, you just go do. But let's talk about how I couple up a habit to make it fun. I'm on the treadmill. I used to read. I'm not going to get on the treadmill and walk anymore because I consider it a very dangerous exercise. I do think sprinting for 5 minutes on a treadmill is probably a good idea. Okay, reading. I used to read. But I do exercise now that are no impact. Like I think riding a bike and reading a book might be okay. I have music. Music in the background when I'm working in my room are good. Talking. I go to the gym to talk. The only reason why I go to the gym is because I want to go talk with my friends. It's happy hour. I enjoy looking at the mirror and seeing my muscles grow. If you don't have mirrors in your house, you need a full-length mirror. In your bedroom, you should have mirrors all over the place so that you get motivated. When you get on the scales, the best way to learn to lose weight is to get on the scales absolutely every day of the week. First thing when you wake up, look in the mirror and look at yourself and see where you made progress. Or get motivated because you're not making progress. You log in your weight every day of the week. Social life after is a good thing. So I went to a lot of parties with the people at the gym. I realized that when I was living in the United States, about my only friends were people from the gym or people from these yuppie bars that I would hang around in. I didn't actually hang around with people that weren't movers and shakers. But you never give yourself, you don't go to the gym and then go eat something. That is a reward, external reward that is opposite of the habit. You're destroying the habit by doing it. You can go walk in the park. That's exercise. You can go hiking. I do the inevitable exercises. I always try to rent a room on the 3rd floor if I could. I try to live on the 3rd floor, so I have to walk up the stairs. But if you're going to work, you walk up the steps. You don't take the elevators. There's workout beaches you can join. Like in Odessa, Ukraine, one of the best places I know to go to the beach on the planet is in Ukraine. And they have these exercise places at the beach. And I can go exercise and then go to the beach. And it's quite enjoyable because you have these girls and things. And you have all these super exercise people. But rollerblading is a way to exercise, but you can have multiple different sports. And if you bought scuba gear and you never used it, think about it. You got to plan these trips. So you kind of put yourself in between a rock and a hard place where you form a trip to go snowboarding, or you form a trip to go sailing, or you do with your friends, and then you do these trips that are about exercise. And if you're trying to only give yourself comfort is aging. If you want to say the opposite of staying young is comfort. Comfort is the opposite. I go to the gym to look at girls. I ride a bike to just enjoy. But when I ride a bike or I'm walking, I never walk the same path every day. I'm desperately trying to get my sister to stop doing the exact same torturous lap that she does every day. I said, walk all over the place. I get in a taxi in a lot of cities. I get in a taxi and I go about a mile away, then I walk back and I explore. You got to make it an adventure. You got to make it a challenge. I got a whole bunch of videos on habits where these guys talk about how to exercise and how to make the habit of exercising fun. You got to walk a different route. Buenos dias. You got to say hello to every girl in the gym. Every person in the gym should be a hello. Why? Because the goal is to make it enjoyable so that you are at happy hour. Cheers. Cheers was a great example where everybody knows your name. That should be the gym. You should find out new sports. You got to have the tools of exercise. There's tools like I have these long band things that I can carry with me everywhere. I get exercise by walking to different coffee shops. So like every hour I take a walk, go drink a cup of coffee, go do something. I don't go there to eat bread. I don't walk ever. I very seldom eat in restaurants unless I'm doing it with another person for entertainment. Going to 3 times a day to a restaurant is a guarantee that you're going to get fat. That's a bad habit. You got to set a timer sometimes. Sometimes I just set a timer to remind me to go do something. I have a list of exercises that I'm going to start doing that if I keep going to the gym. I'm not going to be able to keep going to the gym because finding gyms in foreign countries is about impossible. Most of the time it's full of a bunch of meatheads that depress me because all they do is grunt and groan and try to be macho, and they are the opposite of enjoyment. They're basically enjoying the domination of other people. This is not the reason to go to the gym. The reason to go to the gym is to be to make yourself a sculptured, beautiful person. Think about it. That guy, I was just watching a video, Tom Ballou, and he says, I want to be like that guy in Wolverine with the muscles. I actually want to be like, I can't think of his name. Well, in the movie Spartan or something, Brad Pitt had muscles that I wanted. There's also this Hercules thing. You got to get a picture of the person you want to look like and maybe hang it on the wall, and then you go to the gym and you talk to somebody and say, I want those muscles. You don't just get bigger. That's not the way to sculpt yourself into a work of art. Okay, I know that when I get my six-pack abs, you're going to hire me to be your trainer to form the art of creating habits. Getting out of control. The noise here is out of control. Noise is an interesting thing. And empathy is difficult for people. They are so involved in their own brains that they do it. But you got to be involved in your own brain enough that you can stay focused in the middle of chaos. Because serenity is clarity. And clarity is being happy in your own little world. I'm Andy Lee Graham. Let's get on, become a Patreon. We can talk about how to become the best of the best, and how you do everything is how you do everything. Mucho booyah! If you want to learn Spanish, if you want to learn French, if you want to learn Russian, I'd like to teach Russian because then I would learn Russian. I know how to learn any language. That I can guarantee. I can learn any language, but it's a lot easier if I'm living immersed in the language. To learn a language without needing to use the language is kind of a great way to atrophy the language. I'm here and you're not, why not? Andy Lee Graham. I've lived in 114 countries and I've been doing this for 26 years. Hiya. Become a Patreon. Then we can talk. If you become a $100 a month Patreon, I'll actually stop in your house and live there for like a couple weeks, and we can actually do all this stuff in person.